Hello, my name is Sarah Mason, and I'm grateful today to be able to share with you a little bit about my forthcoming memoir called The War to Surrender, a mother's journey through her war to save her son from mental illness and a soul surrender. So I want to provide a little bit of a backstory to my journey to share where the idea came for my memoir and why I'm writing this memoir. I've always been a deep spiritual seeker. It's always been one of the greatest passions of my life to pursue an understanding of the mysteries of life, what the divine has to do with us here on earth, what my soul's purpose is, and everything spiritual. At the same time, one of my greatest passions was always to be a mother. It was a dream that I had held always since I was a little girl. So my memoir ends up being something that is the intersection really of two of the greatest passions of my life, being a mom and my spiritual growth. I never could have imagined that my greatest spiritual growth would come on the heels of a journey that my son has had through mental illness. It's still very fresh and it's deeply painful to talk about the journey that my son has been through. And first and foremost, I want to say that he is so courageous and he's doing well today. So I think that's important. I want to share that as well. So my story is going to cover three different parts of the journey. My life before mental illness entered it, just to share a little bit of context, how deep my dreams were and what my outlook was on life and how I viewed life and approached life. I also want to share then in the middle of it, the second part of my memoir is going to be talking about life during the chaos and trauma of mental illness. And in that area is a space far too many parents are in. And that's the space where your child tells you out of the blue, in my case, that he wants to kill himself, which was a complete and utter shock for me in the spring of 2017. The coming years after that declaration for my son were full of multiple hospitalizations, constant suicidal ideation, my son dropping out of high school and entering into system after system that was broken, into just a world I never could have imagined, watching my son slip further and further away from me. At the end of the day, really today what ended up happening through this journey of multiple diagnoses, leading to a psychotic break and then into a gradual or eventual diagnosis with bipolar disorder, we've been able now over the last couple of years to find stability and a ground. So that's a little bit about my journey with my son, and the memoir will be told through my parenting perspective. What my journey was about. And the important part now comes the intersection of my spiritual growth and what's happened to me over the past couple of years as I've had more space for healing. You can tell I still have a ways to go. But looking back at the journey and really understanding that I have a deep level of surrender that has come into my life, and that was part of a spiritual goal that I had had, that when I was younger, I thought it was going to be this wonderful thing to obtain. So as I reflect over the last couple of years, I have fundamentally changed over the 8-year time period that my memoir is going to span, from 2017 to right now in 2025, with an understanding of how I have fundamentally changed my outlook in life, from judgment to compassion, from control to surrender, and just kindness and a lot more grace, because I understand how much mental health can rock the world of the families it supports. And it's been a healing journey for me, and I think that was the main reason that this memoir was important for me to be able to share, as well as knowing out there how many parents are on this horrible journey, this horrible and traumatic journey. And if there's anything that sharing my story could do to touch someone else's heart, then it will have all been worth it. Thank you so much. I appreciate Hay House and all you do for authors.